Hello everyone, I'm Cloud and welcome to Anime No Mi. Today, continuing with the One Piece videos here on the channel, we will talk about the Straw Hat Pirate Swordsman. We recently made a video talking about the scars Luffy has on his body from the battles he faced on his journey to become king of the pirates. In today's video we'll cover the same topic, but now we're going to talk about your right-hand man, Zoro. And I already count on your help to leave your like in the video to support the channel. I also hope you subscribe if you're still new here, and leave your comments saying your opinions and what the next videos you want to see here on the channel. Now let's go to the video. Roronoa Zoro, also known by his title of Pirate Hunter, is Luffy's right-hand man. Zoro alongside his captain Luffy and his rival, the Straw Hat Cook, forms the monster trio, the three strongest characters among the pirates of the Straw Hat crew. During his journey to help Luffy become the king of pirates and to fulfill his own dream of becoming the greatest swordsman in the world, during the various confrontations, Zoro ended up receiving several blows that ended up turning into several scars. So let's talk about how Zoro got the 22 scars he has, remembering first that in the character's look to facilitate Oda's manga drawings and also the animation, the scars don't end up showing, but the scars are still there. Usually, authors leave visible on characters only the scars that represent something in their appearance or in their main story, and now that we've talked about that, let's check all the scars that Zoro has revealed to have. Starting with the first scar that Zoro started to have after receiving an attack in his fight against Buggy. We saw that during the East Blue Saga, Luffy and Zoro meet Nami and Buggy. After some events they come into conflict with this pirate and his crew. During the fight of Zoro, who is fighting Buggy, the Straw Hat Pirate swordsman executes a big attack against Buggy, and Zoro thinks he has cut him into several pieces and therefore believes he has been able to win. Turns out Buggy was just tricking Zoro using the powers of his devil fruit, which makes him immune to blades, so the pirate manages to pierce the underside of Zoro's right rib and does so without Zoro noticing, so he won your first scar. Now, already during his fight against Kabeji, Zoro acquired his second scar. The events of the anime and the manga are different, so let's talk about both. In the anime, during the confrontation, Kabeji pierces with his sword near the spot where Buggy pierced Zoro for the first time. But in the manga the event is different. Zoro with his own sword makes this wound, which leads everyone present at that moment to be surprised by his attitude, so Zoro acquires his second scar. Next, during the Syrup Village arc, Luffy and his crew were fighting Kuro and his crew of once famous pirates. Zoro alone was fighting Butchie and Sham and seemed to be having difficulties in that confrontation. At this point, we see that Usopp notices his teammate in danger, so he tries to at least be able to help Zoro since he saw that he was trying very hard to protect everyone, but he accidentally ends up hitting one of his Nameboshi on Zoro's back, causing his guard to stay open, allowing Butchie and Sham to manage to cut Zoro's chest into an X shape with their claws. Usopp then realized that Zoro let himself be hit by his attack, so Usopp and Nami wouldn't become targets. After two other scars Zoro got during his fight against Dracula Mihawk, the greatest swordsman in the world, during his journey he comes across Mihawk. Seeing that this was his opportunity to become the greatest swordsman in the world, he challenges him to a combat. During combat, Mihawk uses a small blade that served as a small necklace around his neck, and he does this to demonstrate to Zoro that his strength wouldn't even make the best swordsman in the world to exert himself. So after Zoro uses all his most powerful attacks against Mihawk and realizes that all his hits were useless against him, he then uses the tiger trap, and with that Mihawk pierces the middle of Zoro's chest with that little blade. During the same combat, Mihawk starts using his sword Yoru because he realizes Zoro's honor as a swordsman and thus decides to cut him with his royal sword, one of the most powerful blades in the world of One Piece. Zoro at that moment was already tired and full of wounds, even so he uses his Santoryu Oji Sanzen Sekai, but when executing this attack two of his swords are broken and he is still wounded in the chest by Mihawk. At that moment, realizing that he had already been defeated, Zoro turns his body to be looking into Mihawk's eyes to receive his final blow, hoping that the best swordsman in the world would end his journey at that moment. Zoro said that a cut on the back was a great disgrace to a swordsman, and Mihawk, admired by his attitude, makes another cut deeper into Zoro's chest, but not a lethal cut, thus causing Zoro's defeat and yet another of his scars. Another scar that Zoro got was during the confrontation with Galdino, also known as Mr. 3. With his wax fruit he holds Nami, Vivi and Zoro. Seeing no choice to escape, Zoro decides to cut his own legs, scaring even Mr. 3. Nami asks if Zoro really decided to cut his own legs, but Zoro replies saying that he stopped midway, cutting only a little so that he could move again, but we saw that he actually caused a serious cut on his leg. Already in Alabasta, Zoro fights Mr. 1. During this combat Mr. 1 turns his hand into a sword and turns it like a drill, so he goes towards Zoro and pierces him with this powerful attack. Soon after Mr. 1 turns his arms into a sword, then uses his attack called Super Breaker. This attack is capable of slicing from Zoro's left arm to Zoro's right arm, causing Zoro to lose a lot of blood, in addition to leaving leaving him almost unable to fight because of his injuries. In Skypia's arch, while Zoro was walking around the place, Skybreeder Ohm, one of Enel's 4 priests, attacks him with an iron whip, piercing his 2 arms. The giant dog that Ohm was on top also attacks Zoro, but this attack Zoro manages to dodge. While he was dodging, Ohm quickly delivers another blow with his sword. Zoro unable to dodge the attack, and is hit, so the sword managed to hit his right rib. Now we go to Enies Lobby's arc, Luffy and his crew fighting the Cypher Pole 9. One of those confrontations was that of Zoro facing Kaku, and after several sword blows that both managed to defend, Zoro manages to break both Kaku's swords. In a brief moment, Zoro gets careless, worried about what might be happening to Luffy, so Kaku quickly with his Shurgon technique uses his finger to pierce Zoro's body 3 times, managing to hit vital parts of his body, leaving him very hurt. After some clashes taking place, Zoro fights Kaku again, and after transforming into his animal form, which he possesses through the powers of his devil fruit, he turns into a cube with Tekai Mushikaku. Kaku uses Rankyaku towards the ceiling, and this causes some small Rankyaku blades to bounce off, falling like rain on the enemy, making the attack difficult to block. Zoro with his swords was trying as hard as he could to try to cut him, but the different blades cut his body continuously. Without being able to do anything, he stands there waiting for this technique to end, but after the end of the blow, Zoro's body it was already completely pierced. The next on the list came at the end of the Thriller Bark arc, after Luffy and his crew were tired during the massive clashes that took place in order for them to defeat Gecko Moria and his zombie pirates. Luffy was completely tired, full of injuries, which causes the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates to pass out. Then comes Kuma, who uses his devil fruit to test Zoro's resolve and try to figure out how far the swordsman would go for the life of his captain, Luffy. We saw that Kuma then removes all the pain from Luffy's body, all the pain he had during the conflict with Gecko Moria, causing his pain to transform into a physical form that he could control. Zoro goes towards Luffy's pains, and we see how Sanji tries to stop him, saying that he would do it for his captain instead of the swordsman. But Zoro pushes him, and with his hands he is able to absorb all the pain, thus causing Luffy's injuries to hurt his entire body. All this in the end ends up causing several damages to his body, and with it an unbearable pain, which everyone believed that Zoro would end up losing his life. But in the end he was able to bear it, keeping a serious posture so as not to show pain. Now more recently, during Wana's arc, we saw that Kid's first mate, the Supernova Kairer, was out of control. He then started fighting Zoro and Onimaru, and after a brief fight he wounded Zoro. With his scythe, Kairer unleashes an attack that pierces Zoro's left chest. He still presses the swordsman of the Straw Hat Pirates, increasing the wound. We also have Zoro's fight against Kaido, where Zoro suffered few hits from Kaido, but they were enough for him to end up badly wounded, out of combat, and being rescued by Sanji. And lastly we have the fight between King and Zoro, a fight where we see that King has several times managed to cut Zoro, as well as being able to pierce him using the powers of his devil fruit. Also, we saw that at the time the sword Enma was absorbing too much haki from Zoro, which makes the pirate's arm very weak. At that moment King saw an opportunity to attack him. He pulls his head and attacks Zoro with an extremely strong and fast blow. With this attack then we see that King was able to pierce Zoro's left rib. Moreover, with this blow he almost throws the swordsman out of the place where they were fighting. These are all the scars that Zoro has revealed so far, but during this great battle that is taking place in Wano, he will possibly acquire even more wounds during the fighting, so possibly we can update this video in the future. After all, as we know, the final battle is coming, and we saw how the author of One Piece, Oda, says that the battle will be an incredible one, where many powerful characters continue to face each other, the final confrontation being greater than the battle that took place in Marineford, and even bigger than the Battle of Wano. Then we'll see the Straw Hat Pirates, mainly Zoro, facing powerful enemies that he won't be able to defeat easily, so during combat his body will be pierced several times until he can overcome his enemies. But now I want to know what you think about it. Did you remember all those injuries Zoro has already suffered? What other characters would you like us to bring a video talking about their scars? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thanks to all of you for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed the content and information in today's video. We hope that we will always continue together talking about the news of the anime and the manga, so comment your doubts, news, or what you think will happen in the anime in the future. Also comment on the new videos you want to see here on the channel. We'll see you again in the next video. I'll wait for you here. Bye.